was sitting there just sort of reflecting, thinking about some of the practical ways, and we do work with a number of community organisations. I think having opportunities to do secondary consultation, if possible. I was thinking a model around that which we would use, which we do with RCH around mental health concerns. That would be an excellent model. Also, I was thinking within our school we do a lot of safety plans with students, so I was thinking to have the opportunity where there are issues of possible risk around family violence, and certainly we do have students with that, like to be able to sort of like share or come up with like a documentation that could be a standard format would be good. And look, I don't know, I was just sort of thinking like we've just done a refugee project over 2 years at our school, and we've worked with Drummond Street, and the outcomes from that has just been amazing in terms of parent engagement. But one of the outcomes for us as a school that we have said is that every young person or student that is from a refugee background will now have someone from Wellbeing sit on their student support group. Because that also means too that, you know, where there's opportunity, and an outcome from that project has actually been doing referrals for both young people and families to community sector. And just having the parents yesterday talk about the changes for their family is amazing. That group of parents actually want to continue to meet. So for me too, to have some secondary consultation, especially with community agencies working with different cultural backgrounds, would be excellent, because there are some real concerns in terms of some of our young people. An example where they think it's just normal, that's my family, it's, you know, we're meant to get a belting, and I'm talking young women. So to have some opportunities to work with community agencies around some of that work would be really helpful in terms of some of our students and young people. That's sort of some practical examples.
Sort of bringing that in intersectional lens, I guess,
Yeah,
and the community sector being quite good at being able to bring that to schools.
I just wanted to add to the referral pathways discussion. So in the Barwon area, our liaison officer, so at the moment Felicity, and then Kate Robinson, who was previously in that role. So our liaison role has set up two reference groups, one in Geelong and one in the Colac Upways area, looking at referral pathways and response with schools. So we've got some key people from schools on those committees, as well as child protection, Wathaurong Co-op, someone from VicPol, so Child First, ourselves, and a couple others that I'm sorry I can't think quite clearly. But really looking at the response sector and the service sector around how we support schools, but also on the other hand, we're doing some work with all of our key contact people at each of our schools as well, particularly our lead schools, to then support through communities of practice with our partner schools, but actually looking at our internal referrals as well as our external referrals from a school perspective. So it's sort of both need to be happening at the same time. So sometimes schools have very clear referral pathways to Wellbeing, to as well as to external organisations, but sometimes it's very ad hoc, particularly in some of our very, very small schools. We've got schools that have 3 staff, and it's whoever's there on the day, which is fine if that's where schools are at. But we still need to have some kind of clear flowchart of what that looks like, of who it is that's free on the day. So we're sort of doing some work internally with schools around that, as well as with our service system as well. So yeah, I think that there's some work to do around referral pathways and supporting schools with that.
Thanks, Ash. Yeah, go for it.
I'll just add to that as well. One of the things I've been interested in is actually supporting teachers who are probably at the front line, and the stress and distress it causes them in some cases. And I've had in the past a coach and a person who actually was on leave from another school in a wellbeing area to come in and work through those issues with the teachers, because sometimes they don't actually, one, there is the distress that it causes, but also, has their response been appropriate? Did they say, act in the right way, or was there something else they should have done? All those sorts of things. So I think it's important not to forget the people who are doing on-the-ground work. So if there are community organisations who offer that support to teachers, I would be very happy to take your number. Thank you.
That's a really important area, graduate teachers, and I think you're right. Like, they really do have the day-to-day relationship with the students. So often, you know, they will be the people that the students will talk to.
And teaching is, by its very nature, an extremely stressful job, and so add in a potential disclosure that you're not quite ready for, and it certainly can lead to distress. Yeah.